Jesus fucking Christ. I cannot stop thinking about this bland-ass, mediocre-ass, boring-ass, white-bread-ass comedy movie. I went into Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers with very low expectations, and yet somehow still came out feeling distinctly dead inside. Not to say that parts of it aren't enjoyable. The wide array of animation styles all goulashed together is very impressive, or at least it would be if The Amazing Adventures of Gumball hadn't gotten there first. And I enjoyed a fair number of the Hollywood meta jokes, but beyond that, it's one of the most things I've ever seen. The emotional core of the thing is just unfathomably empty. The comedic possibilities of the universe are thoroughly squandered, and, movie, you don't get to make fun of any other movie for having inexpressive animation. I have encountered more expressive mold in my shower. Furthermore, almost nobody in the cast comes close to giving us their A-game. Andy Samberg's performance is probably the most refreshing of the bunch, because at least you can tell he's having fun, but John Mulaney sounds like a third grader in the school play who popped an Ambien right before curtain. Kiki Lane could not be emanating any more "this character is nothing, this script is nothing, I'm just here to collect a paycheck and go to the bar" energy if she tried. Will Arnett is engaging in his usual shtick of making me deeply regret watching BoJack Horseman, thereby instilling in me a token amount of faith in him as a voice actor that he has yet to justify in any other project. And J.K. Simmons is also here, and he's fine, because it's hard to fuck up J.K. Simmons. But the biggest problem with this movie by a long shot, one which is particularly egregious for an overtly goofy piece, is a consistent lack of comedic follow-through with nearly every single joke. This movie is just bizarrely comfortable establishing the setup for a perfect gag, but then just forgetting to add in a punchline in favor of merely moving on to the next setup, which gives the proceedings a severely unfocused and slapdash feel. For instance, let's take the thing with the birds. So it's the climax of the movie. Chip and Dale are on the docks, they're running toward this big crane, and they need to stall this robot cat guy long enough to make their escape. So, they decide to reuse one of the gags from their old show. The gag goes, Chip hits Dale with a mallet, the requisite chirpy birds start flying in a circle above his head, but in a subversive twist, the cat who's chasing them sees the birds and becomes distracted with hunger, allowing Chip and Dale to make their escape. So, how shall the movie further subvert this expectation from the classic cartoon? Well, frankly, things start out quite promising. Chip and Dale begin whacking each other on the head with mallets, but for some reason, the expected cartoon birds haven't arrived. Oh no, what are they gonna do? Our escape plan hinges on this. Well then, we cut to two elderly yellow birds lying in bed in their suburban house. The husband bird's phone starts ringing, and we get two quick lines of dialogue. The wife is all like, "It's the middle of the night," and the husband is all like, "It's my job, Diane, and I am here for it." But then, instead of following through on this excellent bit, we just cut right back to the business with the mallet, the head bonk finally works, and the birds are just there? Waiter? Oh, waiter? Could you bring me the other half of this joke, please? Because can I just say, this is a legitimately fantastic setup. The whole premise of this movie is that all the cartoon characters that you have not thought about in decades are all real people with real careers. But what about the specialists? What about the niche jobs? Who are all these birds that always promptly show up to dutifully fly in circles whenever I hit somebody on the head with a mallet? Do they only have to show up on set for like an hour? How much do they get paid then? Do they have a union? It's probably similar to like puppeteers or like those guys who've just done animal voices for cartoons for 40 years. In that it's probably just like the same 10 birds just trekking around Hollywood, flying around the heads of more famous cartoon characters all day. And yeah, two of them probably got married at some point. And this short scene already paints a clear picture of what it's like to hang out with them. But if that's where you cut away, the joke sucks! This bit does not merit a mere cutaway gag. Oh no, 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 no. This merits a comedic detour. It's a classic and well-established method of escaping from a dull and boring climax for a bit of a breather. We don't even see this bird react to the news that he gets over the phone, and we need to, because when he gets this call, it should be like somebody sent up the goddamn bat signal. Chip and Dale have not needed him for 30 years, but he's kept them on speed dial all this time because he knew. He knew this day would come. It's time for one last job, for old time's sake. It's time to get the fucking band back together. Because yeah, we only see these two, but there are way more birds than that flying around the cartoon characters' heads. What is the rest of the gang up to in these sad modern times, bereft of cartoon mallets? Have they become secretaries, cab drivers, assassins of spherical green pigs? Are they happy? Do any of them yearn for a simpler time? How would one even get a hold of them? Are they on Twitter? So you spend about 20-30 seconds rounding up the old gang for one last job, and then you throw another subversion in there. Cause how are they gonna get to the dock? The only bird with a truck big enough for everybody lost his license from a DUI back in 2004. Should we split an Uber XL? I mean, okay, but you guys have to promise to Venmo me this time, okay? But then their driver turns out to be the sloth from Zootopia, and he makes everybody put on their seatbelts and tries to ask if they want gum or bottled water, or if anybody needs to charge their phone. And meanwhile, everybody's just like, go, 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 Chip and Dale need us! And then we cut back to Chip and Dale on the dock, and they're both getting increasingly concussed as they just keep hitting each other on the head, but the birds still aren't there yet, and the evil robot cat is just clomping closer and closer. Cut to one of the birds in the Uber, who's on the phone with his daughter trying to explain that, oh no, sorry honey, he's not gonna make it back to kiss her goodnight because he got delayed at work. Meanwhile, the close quarters are reminding everyone of everything they found annoying about each other back in the day. An old love triangle rears its ugly head. But then finally they get there, and it's just in time because the robot cat is just about to crush Chip and Dale for good. And then, you know, some escalation happens, one last heightened comedic hurdle before the gang finally comes together and pulls off their classic gag one last time, only to end in the dark twist that, oh yeah, this gag always ends with one of us getting eaten. Yeah, whatever, I'm not here to write your movie for you, okay? I'm not your mother. What I'm saying is that this shit practically writes itself. And it seems like you just forgot! Like a fucking idiot! Why are you crying? Stop crying!